Hey guys! Hello. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've actually had this conversation, this live stream, I think on my heart and mind since March. So I'm actually really excited to share all of this information with you guys today. And I actually have a little list, a couple of housekeeping issues that I want to go over before I start sharing all of this great information with you about how you can make your house more of a home that really serves you from a divine guidance and direction standpoint, from a healing, operating from like a healing and inspiration place. So one of the first things I wanted to kind of make sure you guys were aware of is I wanted to talk about the connection webinar that's coming up at the end of this month. It's like right around the corner already. This is another project that Riley and I have had on the agenda, I think since January, February. The Divine asked me to offer this information. I think it's really going to blow your mind. So if you're really into intuition at all, I'm going to show you how to tune in to receive guidance that is a lot safer and more accurate and less draining from that conversation. The connection webinar, when the Divine woke me up in the middle of the night and said, we need you to share this information with people, I couldn't believe this is not a conversation that I haven't heard anyone else having, and how important and profound it was. So that connection webinar is going to be on Zoom, and it requires you to sign up to get the link to it. And I'm telling you, your eyes are going to be like, with the wisdom and the clarity that's going to come through on that. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about, I have an entire page of gifts. I don't mean GIF, I mean like presents, things I'm passing out for all of you. I have an entire page of them now on my website. And it has a mixture of content. The House Blessing and Cleansing Guide is on there, which I've now added the numerology course, little mini course, so you can adjust your office space or your home's vibration to really work for you. And I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit. But the Archangel Guidebook, where you can invite the archangels in your home, and then a bunch of my super powerful energy medicine that the Divine asked me to offer. That's all on my website, messengersofspirit.com/gifts. And you can hand that to anybody that you feel like it would be beneficial for. And I've even gone through and taken the extra step of offering emails after you listen to some of that energy medicine, so that you know how to properly like integrate the really thought-provoking questions, because we want you to embody and integrate all of this good medicine. But the other thing I wanted to talk about with Ty's energy medicine products, a light bulb went off for me when I did that guided meditation last week, I think it was. I don't talk about being a divine channel that much, but honestly, that's the energy that comes through on all my stuff. It's very high energy. It's almost like electric for some people. And that's what causes a lot of the shifts. So everything from my guided meditations to my conversations, they're all channeled. And because of that, just the energy, the frequencies that you pick up will actually start to cause you to vibrate at a higher frequency as well. And some of that is because I have been granted access by the Divine also with my own signature frequency, my own signature coding. So a lot of you may notice this hexagon shape that keeps showing up everywhere. Hi, Jody. The Divine says this represents my signature coding. And it was showing up before I started buying curtains with it. So my 6 ingredients that I pass along in all of my products and all of my services, the 6 things that I'm about is hope, love, and faith, my core values. And then my extra special ingredients in my sauce are forgiveness, magic, and joy. So this makes me a really great match for people that want to experience those 6 special ingredients in their life: hope, love, faith, magic, joy, and forgiveness. This is my magic and my medicine that I pass off to people, and that's why you see that hexagon shape showing up everywhere. It actually represents each one of those on the side. The other thing I wanted to tell you with the energy medicines, a lot of people need to listen to those more than one time. They do kind of like a plowing through the subconscious or dismantling previous beliefs that you had. And then the divine downloads, almost like a software pack, new stuff. So while you're listening to my stuff, especially the energy medicine, holy shift calls, stuff like that, you may need to listen to it more than one time. I usually ask people to ask the divine or muscle test how many times they need to listen to it. You might feel tired. You might need to drink lots of water, because a lot of these recordings that I create, the energy medicine and the holy shift calls and products like that, because some of them need to be listened so many times for your ascension process, I do recommend that you listen to some of those calls maybe when you're like out for a walk, or if you're laying by the pool. You don't always have to be in a full rested state. I listen to some of them while I'm cleaning, while I'm cooking. I walk several miles a week, and I often have headphones on, and I listen to my own energy medicine products. I think it's important. A lot of people like to put their headphones on and then go to sleep for a while. I do think it's important that you're listening while you're awake for some of those times, so that you understand and see, so you understand what you're receiving, and then you're obviously remaining open for the evidence that shows up, for the shifts and the changes that happen. So so I'd like to encourage any of you that haven't listened to any of my products before, please check out the gifts tab on my website, messengersofspirit.com/gifts. Sign up for something that calls to you, and just kind of get that full energy medicine and integration package, and then let me know like what you think about it, what you felt, what you sensed, what you noticed. A lot of people feel physical sensations on their body. Some people, their clairaudience clicks right in. And the subtle differences that you'll notice, obviously, are those things I was mentioning before. My very special signature frequency, my signature code being on there with those ingredients of hope, love, faith, magic, joy, and forgiveness. So I just want you to know what are the ingredients in my special sauce. And also, I keep being asked, why are these shapes showing up in all of my products? Many of you in here have downloaded my house blessing and cleansing guide. The reason why I created that is because I used to live in Central Florida, and I used to go to people's houses, and I would essentially do the house blessing and cleansing for them. But there came a point in time where I wanted to take my business on the road, and Riley and I became digital nomads for several years, and I wasn't able to go into people's houses and do it for them. So I created the how-to guide so that everybody could have their space, their own I think we all have things that we want to experience when we're at home. And I think that we have to set intentions and actions to make that happen. And I think everybody's home is different, right? What I want to get done at my house may not be the same thing that you want to experience at your house. So since we have the luxury of choosing what it is that we want to explore or experience, this actually used to be a homework assignment that someone would have to complete before I would come out and do their house blessing and cleansing. They would have to tell me what it is that they would like to experience in their home. So in my guide, and if you haven't downloaded it yet, it's on that gifts tab I was telling you about. I walk you through the steps on how to get those energetic frequencies, those components to start happening and appearing in your home. But it's all about getting clear on your intentions. And part of that is noticing these ingredients when they start to arrive, because the divine will start giving you opportunities to explore those, but you also have to say yes to them. And when you say yes to those opportunities, when they appear, you get more of them. So it's kind of like a conversation that you and the divine have, where you keep kind of buying into that story of harmony or joy or laughter or love or bliss or whatever those components that you want to experience in your home. The other thing that I've done more in my house than other people's houses, but that I love to help people with, is establishing the numerology for their home and what would be the best vibration. So once you know what your intended experience is, and it can be different for different rooms in the house. My office very often has a different productive or money ease kind of number than the rest of our home does. So I just want to establish that up front too. You can have different spaces with different ingredients happening. So I do use the numerology right up front when I establish a place for Riley and I bind that in. And that whole instruction guide is in that house blessing and cleansing guide if you want to do these steps too. But I do all of this before I get to this stage. So I just wanted to preface that. So once I have the numbers on the front door or the other parts of the house where I want to either sync everything up or mix and match, dial in on what we'd like to experience, then I go through with my cleansing tools. And for every home or every experience, it's actually different for me. And some people are really gravitate toward one or two of these, and some use others. So I just want to kind of quickly go through them. Obviously, we have the sage. This one has a bit of lavender attached to it. Palo Santo. I used this a lot when I was in England. A lot of the houses that we stayed at in England, I just didn't feel as comfortable burning sage there. This is copal. This is really used a lot by the Native Americans, and so sometimes I feel very called to use that, and this is kind of like in that resin state. And then essential oils is another one that I've used, and I'll just move the diffuser from one room to another, clearing out all of the old energy before I kind of start to, it's when I'm asking the divine to bring us the new, whatever those new intentions are. So while I'm doing that, I'm clearing the house, I'm also establishing a space or a few spaces in the house where we would like to most likely meditate. Riley and I are both empaths. I'm a healer that is in service to my clients 5 to 6 days a week. And I do sage a lot because I am basically inviting my clients' energy into my space, into my office. I would recommend saging in between clients or smudging or running the diffuser to kind of clear the air, clear the energy in between clients. But even if you're just an empath going out to work and then coming home, I would still recommend doing this clearing once a month. Shifting the energy with the numbers on the door, Riley and I usually I don't do that more than every 3 to 6 months or once a year, depending on what goals we have. But I do recommend that if you choose a number, that you stick to it for at least 3 months to kind of allow all the evidence to show up for you, and kind of let that integrate. So, like I said, I pick 1 or 2 spaces in the house that we're most likely to ground and meditate, journal, do our healing work. And that's where I kind of create a recharging station. And this guidance came through about the recharging station, I would say back in January, right before I was preparing for a workshop that I was offering in St. Pete, Florida. And the divine said, we want you to offer the tutelage around the recharging station and how important it is and what tools you use for it. So the folks in my workshop have heard this piece, but there's a whole other section that I've never shared publicly that's always just been my personal thing, and the divine asked me to share that with you all today. So in my recharging stations, this is really for empaths and healers. Empaths, it allows them to recharge. Healers, it kind of can be a restorative place. The things I look for are a crystal, and these are usually chunky or heavy crystals. I kind of wish I had more, but because we spent so much time as digital nomads, I was kind of like light in what I carried, didn't collect a lot, and I have a tendency to give crystals away. A lot of crystals I've given away. So anyway, in my recharging station, I always focus on something very high vibration and celestial, something very grounding, earthing, or rooting, really keeping you in your body, something that is very transmuting or healing, and then there's usually 4. Clearing the negative energy, so for this one I have smoky quartz, and transmuting, I usually use selenite. Connecting with the higher vibrations, I have celestite. And then staying rooted and grounded in my body, I use the honey calcite. So this is just a piece of shungite. For a lot of people, this helps them stay grounded. Black tourmaline's another great one, and I wish I had a great big old chunk of black tourmaline because I love it. So if anybody wants to gift me a piece, that would be great. It's been on my wish list for a while. A lot of these have ended up being divine gifts from the universe. I think, yeah, except for these two, the most of these have been gifts, which I'm so grateful to receive. So the point is, you want something that's going to kind of clear out your energy field, one that keeps you very in tune with the wisdom of your body and the connection to the earth, one that kind of connects you or elevates you to the heavens, and one that, again, really transmutes, centers, grounds, clears negativity off. So Tiger's Eye is another great one to have on your recharging station. Rose quartz. What you're wanting to do is kind of balance the energy between masculine and feminine, being, like I said, supported and anchored. It's really having all the tools to receive the wisdom, receive the guidance, staying in flow and divine inspiration, but also being able to operate in the here and the now on earth. So it's always like very balanced. And I'm not a crystal expert, so what I do know is everybody's energy is different. So it works for me, may be different for someone else. I think it's really important that you choose the stones that call to you, but pay attention and notice that you're wanting to have like these 4 elements or frequencies in there. You know, a healing one, and a transmuting one, a clearing one, a grounding one, a celestial or higher realm connection. Just kind of having that whole balance at your recharging station. And I meditate with mine every day, but I do recommend for empaths, and healers 2 to 3 times a week to kind of go into that space, restore, and it'll allow them to vibrate higher through challenges. The other thing you might notice are these strips of stones here. This is where I give the divine permission to tune in, clear, activate, and balance all of my chakras. And I have way more than 7 here. So I wanted to explain. This jasper represents my Earth Star chakra. Then I go root with another piece of jasper, red jasper. This carnelian is my sacral, represents the connection to my sacral or my clients if I'm doing healing work. Citrine for solar plexus, aventurine for heart chakra, lapis for throat chakra, amethyst for third eye, clear quartz for crown. And then you'll notice I have a whole section of additional 3, and that's because the divine asked me, I think about 1 year, 2 years ago, they wanted me to start working with all these extra chakras. So This is your soul star chakra, and it kind of gives you access to all of your previous lifetimes. Some people call it like the oversoul, but it's your entire being. This one is more like the galactic chakra. It puts you in connection with kind of like all of the cosmos, all the divine helpers that you have. You kind of use that infinity and beyond kind of thing. And then this represents the connection to our creator or Christ consciousness. So for every client that I give an energy tune-up to, I am sending frequencies to all of these chakras, and when I line up my own with creator source, God, I start from the highest and I ground and anchor that all the way into the earth star chakra in the center of the earth. So I just wanted to give you some examples of what I would recommend on your recharging station in your home. The next process, the next piece that I do when I'm doing my house blessing and cleansing, and I'm tying in those intentions and I'm setting up a recharging station. And this, I would say, is probably the most magical part, and I kind of regret not sharing this more often, because I think it's probably the most impressive and can be the most expressive part of the whole game. This will literally shift the vibration in your house instantly. And so for this part, I'm actually going to close my eyes and go into trance, and kind of chant it out. But to set it up, essentially what you're doing is you're inviting Creator to open a portal in your home that is to be a conduit of healing, to be a conduit of light, and kind of suck like a vacuum anything of an energetic lower vibration out, and bring more divine support in. This is the shaft, the column that many of the divine helpers that show up, the Sisterhood of the Rose, with Goddess Isis, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, my dragon, this portal of light is kind of like their energy chamber as well. It is a source of healing for me, where I go to connect with that infinite wisdom. So I'm going to show you how to create that. I mention it in the house blessing and cleansing guide. I do a little bit of a invocation that I encourage you, where you kind of ask the divine to bless the home. But opening this portal of light is actually a little bit more, a step further in giving the divine permission and access to really create that home environment, that blessing vibe in your house. And it can offer so much support and healing in circumstances where you really need it. So if you have any questions about anything that I've shared with you so far, feel free to put it in the comments and I'll respond to it when I get done. So when you go to do this in your own house, I just really recommend that you let like the thoughts and the words come to you. It's not necessarily that you need to repeat as I do or say as I say. It's more that you understand and carry these intentions forward in what you're asking. And if you don't ask the divine, they won't deliver it to you, because your free will is the most important thing in this earth, on this planet. You are in charge, you are in control, and what you say goes. However, if you don't establish rules, then you could have some upset or chaos. I don't know if you've ever had a guest come over to your home and have a meltdown, and then after they left, there's just like this stink, this funk, this there where the stuff happened. Or maybe you and your partner got into like a disagreement, and afterward it just felt not great. It felt nasty. It felt yucky. Or maybe you've been afraid with the coronavirus or the things that you're reading online. What we're about to do will essentially almost like a vacuum, just really remove that out of there. And it's not with like an aggressive take control. It's like waking up and having that fresh, clean house feeling. So if you're open to that, if you're open and willing to embrace that, if you want to explore that, I'm going to, like I said, show you how to open that up. So I always drop into my heart space. That's where my connection with Source is. That's where all of our connection with Source is. Creator of all that is. It is commanded that you open a portal, a column, a shaft of light that goes from the heavens into the center of the earth, through the center of my home, that establishes the highest frequencies of unconditional love available. Allow this column, this shaft of light, to have transmutative power. It transmutes, it softens, it heals. Allow it to remove any discarnate entities from my space. Allow this light to serve as protection. Send with this portal of light guardians that will be placed by my front door, along my path, at my vehicle. Allow guardians to be placed surrounding the column of light that will remove any negative attachments or entities off of me, or any that may be brought into my home by someone else. This is an invitation for the divine to wind in this column all of the energetic frequency of the intentions that I'm asking for: peace, love, joy, prosperity, harmony, the highest level of compatibility in my romance. That each person that comes to my home, either as an inhabitant or a visitor, feels loved, understood, valued, and heard, seen. Allow this column of light to emit an energetic frequency of compassion that will allow us to evolve with love, hope, faith, and understanding. Allow this column of light to serve even more as a recharging station to restore the harmony and balance in my body, in my mind, in my heart. Allow this frequency to be felt even when I leave my home. Bring me back into resonance with this column of light whenever I am out of balance. Help me to further align to this frequency and dissolve the contrast or anything that shows up as contrary, where I learn the highest lessons involved and cease to repeat the patterns that no longer serve me well. Allow this portal of light to serve as a space of education from the higher wisdom, the infinite wisdom, for clarity, for peace, for creativity, so that I can fulfill my purpose. Creator, I ask that you are felt in every single corner of my home, and that it causes me to tingle and shiver and feel the highest vibration of love. Allow me to sense healing in all forms and in every direction of my life, because I have granted permission for this shaft of light in my home. Allow this to be anchored I appreciate any and all blessings that would be offered, and so that I may bless others in exchange. And so it is done. Thank you. Mm. So, that's the energy exchange or opportunity that you guys can ask for and have. And like I said, I used to do this as a service in other people's homes, and I never really sat down clearly and showed them how they could do this. So I'm really excited to see what happens when each one of you do this process. I do have a story. One of the people that I did this for, she sat down with me when we created this portal of light, and she helped facilitate it in her home. And I have to tell you, she had a situation recently where a visitor showed up and brought a malevolent entity, and her dragon turned in from like a puppy kind of personality into this enormous protector guardian, and actually snatched the dark entity and threw it in the column of light where it got kind of evaporated or removed. So I'm really excited to see what kind of magical things will transpire while you take these steps to open this portal of light in your living room or in your home. I do actually only recommend kind of like one portal of light per house, but you can have multiple recharging stations, and I usually ask the divine to tie in all the recharging stations in the home. So that's the good stuff that I have for you guys today. I really hope that you liked this, that you enjoyed it. And like I said earlier, let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, let's bring some more divine light, clarity, wisdom, fun, joy, romance, whatever it is that you like to experience more of in your home. Don't be afraid to declare it, to ask for it, and then watch it happen for you. But make sure you choose it when it shows up. Because I have to tell you, one of the most common mistakes I see people make is that they want to experience more peace or more joy. And then when the divine provides them opportunities to have a day off or to go somewhere fun with friends, they decide to work or save money and stay home instead. And that's the divine's way of saying, like, I'm trying to support you. I'm trying to help you out here. But it's really important that you also answer back and say, yeah, I'm going to go do that thing. So I really hope that you enjoyed this and that you gained something from it. And like I said, feel free to send me a question if you have any, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See you on the connection webinar. Bye. If you want to find out what's coming out next on this channel, make sure that you're subscribed. And if you would like some more holy support, please check me out on patreon.com under Ty the Spirit Messenger. And if you would like to join our wonderful safe space on Facebook, we have a beautiful community called Be Your Own Guru. Until next time, bye-bye.